Now, welcome to Module 2. And in Module 2, our focus is on courtship, premarital counseling, and heartbreak management. So, the path from singleness to marriage is rarely a straight line. So, this module equips counselors to guide clients through courtship, prepare them for marriage, and help them recover when relationships end. So, the contents of this module include stages of courtship and relationship building, premarital counseling for singles, managing expectations before marriage, dealing with heartbreak and emotional trauma, compatibility testing, and genotype considerations. Okay, now let's talk about why focus on the premarital period. Now, most marriage counselors focus only on already married couples, but the most impactful work often happens before the wedding. Now, why do premarital counseling work matters? One, patterns can still be changed. Expectations can still be adjusted. Incompatibilities can be discovered before they become legally binding. So there are three phases of premarital work. Number one is the courtship. This is when the relationships are built. Then we have what we call premarital counseling. This is where you prepare for marriage. Then heartbreak management, recovering when love does not last. So a comprehensive practice serves singles preparing for marriage, engaged couples, and those recovering from relationship losses. So counseling should not just focus on married couples in crisis alone. Now let's talk about the 5 stages of courtship. There are 5 stages of courtship. Number 1 is attraction and initiation. Then 2 is curiosity and exploration. Then 3 is intensification and exclusivity. Then stage 4 is integration and assessment. Then stage 5 is commitment and engagement. All right. So couples who skip stages or become stuck in any of these will not be able to transition into marriage. So like I said, the first stage is where there is a spark of interest, where there is expression of interest, right? Then after that, you move to stage 2 where you ask open-ended questions. Then stage 3, that is when the relationship will become committed. You now begin to introduce your spouse or your fiance or fiancé to friends and family. Then stage 4, this one is you function almost as married. Thorough compatibility assessment, you check, you discuss a lot about marriages. Okay, so that's what is done. Then stage 5, this is when you do formal intention to marry. You go for premarital counseling and also make final practical arrangements. Now, but there are warning signs at every stage of courtship. Okay, now for stage 1, now the stage 1 warning signs include: one party does all the pursuing, rushing into exclusivity, and ignoring early red flags. That is stage 1. For stage 2 warning, this is where you see that maybe your partner avoid personal questions. We want to bring up conversations, and the conversation remains superficial beyond 2 to 3 months. You now begin to sense this partner is hiding something from me. Is a sign. Then the third stage is when you notice pressure for commitment before both are ready, avoiding family introduction after 6 months, major personality changes in private versus public. Then for stage 4 warning sign, marriage discussions are postponed repeatedly. When you want to bring up an issue, it's postponed. You need to begin to see significant incompatibilities. Now then stage 5 warning signs include when the engagement become longer than 18 months without a wedding date. Conflict about wedding planning. This reveals deeper issues. All right. So as a marriage counselor, your job is to help couples recognize when they are stuck or ignoring red flags, and to have honest conversations about whether to proceed or not. Okay. Now let's talk about what is even premarital counseling. It is actually a structured process where a trained counselor helps a couple prepare for marriage before they exchange vows. Okay. Now it is preventive and educational. 4 key goals of premarital counseling includes: to identify potential areas of conflict, before patterns become entrenched. 2, to build communication and conflict resolution skills. 3, to clarify expectations about roles, finances, children, sex, and extended family. And 4, to create a shared vision for a successful marriage. Now, couples who complete premarital counseling have divorce rates up to 50% lower. So premarital counseling is most effective when couples are still deeply in love and motivated, not when they are already in crisis. All right. So why singles should prioritize premarital counseling? One, it surfaces hidden assumption. Every person carries assumption about marriage from their family of origin. These are invisible until violated. So premarital counseling reveals them. 2, it provides a safe space for difficult conversation. You begin to talk about sex, money, and even how to handle in-laws. Okay, these issues are hard to discuss without a neutral third party. Then number 3, premarital counseling builds skills before they are needed. Number 4, premarital counseling also reveals incompatibilities before they become binding. So the best time to discover you disagree about the marriage is during premarital counseling. Okay. Now let's talk about how to manage expectations before marriage. Okay. Let's common unrealistic expectation can be my spouse will meet all my emotional needs. This is not possible. No single person can do that. Healthy marriages rely on a network of relationships. Now, another unrealistic expectation is love alone is enough to solve any problem. You see, love is necessary, but it's not sufficient. Skills, resources, and even character matters. Now, marriage, another unrealistic expectation is marriage will make me happier than I am now. The truth is, marriage amplifies what already exists. It does not cure unhappiness. Marriage is not a cure for unhappiness. Another expectation can be my spouse should just know what I need without being told. Mind reading is not a marital skill. So help as a counselor, you help clients audit their expectations and adjust unrealistic ones. Now let's talk about heartbreak. This is more than just sadness. Heartbreak is not merely a metaphor, it is a real neurobiological phenomenon. You know, so there are 4 stages of heartbreak recovery. First, shock and denial. Okay, then protest and cession, then anger and despair. Then the fourth one is acceptance and reorganization. This is when you have emotional intensity, your emotional intensity reduces, and you now become ready for new relationship. Okay, but heartbreak can still transition into trauma. Now, heartbreak becomes traumatic when the relationship involves betrayal trauma, sudden abandonment, abusive dynamics, gaslighting, you know, and multiple losses. Signs of trauma could be intrusive memories or flashbacks, avoidance of places, all right, hypervigilance in a new relationship, difficulty trusting own judgment, persistent shame or wordlessness. You know, standard heartbreak interventions may not be enough for traumatic heartbreak. So, as a counselor, you need to recognize when to refer for trauma specific counseling. Okay. Now let's talk about genotype and medical compatibility. Now, what is sickle cell disease? Sickle cell disease is a genetic blood disorder causing severe pain, organ damage, and reduced life expectancy. Now, there are critical combinations for childbearing. For instance, AA plus AA, there is no risk of sickle cell. But AA plus AS, no disease risk. Children may be carriers. But when you have AS to AS, 25%, there will be 25% chance of sickle cell disease. Okay, and that is why serious caution is advised. Then if you have AS and SS in marrying, going into marriage, there will be 50% chance of sickle cell disease. So that is why it's strongly discouraged from biological children. If you are going to marriage, maybe you will not produce children. Then if for SS and SS, there's 100% chance of sickle cell disease. You can say that. So it is the counselor's responsibility to educate about inheritance and quality of life with sickle cell, and to also refer for accredited laboratory testing before marriage, or discuss options for AS couples, that's prenatal testing, PGD, adoption, child-free marriage, and so forth. There are some people that are going to marry and say, look, this marriage, it is not, we are not going to give birth, you know. So the counselor should also provide emotional support without question. This is not optional. This is not optional. Responsible premarital counseling includes routine discussion about genotype compatibility. So we have seen some of the most impactful counseling work happens before the wedding, when patterns can still be changed, expectations can still be adjusted, and incompatibilities can still be discovered before they become legally binding. So thank you. Build your practice to serve singles and engage couples. Thank you for listening.